Hello and welcome to this audio on the principles of effective feedback. It should take around 10 minutes, but of course you can pause and restart whenever you want. By listening to this audio, you will be able to understand the meaning of feedback and identify the three key elements to effective feedback. Let's start by thinking what feedback is. It's defined as providing observations with the intention of maintaining or improving performance. Simply, it's about helping the other person gain perspective on a situation. It's a bit like getting ready for a night out and then looking in a mirror to see if the actual matches the perceived view. Or if you're like me, think, how come my dad's in the mirror? Bill Gates once said, we all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve. Feedback should be both positive and developmental. Positive feedback is a terrific motivational tool and provides the other person with some tangible evidence to repeat great performance. Feedback should not just be waiting for a manager to give it to their team. Feedback should happen up and down the chain as well as along the links, i.e. managers providing feedback to their team, the team providing feedback to each other, and the team members providing feedback to the manager and beyond. People can react to situations in different ways. How people react to feedback can be compared to whether they are a thimble, i.e. they like one piece of feedback at a time so they can digest it and action it, or they are a bucket, i.e. just tell me everything. There's no right or wrong in the way that they feel. However, if we don't pay attention to that, it could affect the reaction that we get. Equally, some people get emotional when hearing the word feedback and fear the worst. This can be down to a poor experience of receiving feedback in the past. Sometimes the person reacts to our feedback based on how we have delivered it. For example, we may find it difficult to give developmental feedback, especially to our peers or managers, which could make us nervous or apprehensive. In the article, Don't Let Your Brain's Defense Mechanisms Thwart Effective Feedback by James Detert and Ethan Burris, they state that our sensitive danger radar causes us to respond to feedback we receive in a way which protects us from any perceived danger. Our danger radar can also kick in when the person responds to our feedback. For example, we interpret what they say or their body language as a criticism, even if it's not. In the short term, this may protect us in some ways, but can undermine our long-term goals. For example, having honest conversations that allow for learning while leaving both parties feeling psychologically intact. We're going to provide you with a structure for providing both positive and developmental feedback in whatever situation you're facing. The AID model is easy to use and also helps you to remain assertive when providing feedback. It stands for action, impact, and do. To set the scene for the three stages, it's useful to ask the other person to self-reflect so you can see how they may react to the feedback. This helps us see their perspective of the situation before you share your thoughts. The way to do this is with some open questions such as, how do you think that went? What went well? Or what would you do differently? The first stage is action. And this is where you provide your view of the situation, keeping to the facts of what was observed or heard, including body language if that had a significant effect. The second stage is impact. This is about the impact of those actions. So, although it didn't seem like a major incident when you spilled water from the kettle, by not wiping it up, Daisy has slipped and broken her wrist. Sharing the impact of the observation helps the other person to understand the so what of the conversation and the wider impact of what they've done. The third stage, do, is about agreeing what the other person could do the next time they face a similar situation. This could be replicating something good that they did, positive feedback, or thinking about what they could do differently if the situation didn't go so well, developmental feedback. When giving feedback, this stage is a combination of asking the other person for their input by asking a question such as, what do you think you could do? Or what would you suggest? In addition, you can provide your suggestions about how the situation could progress with phrases such as, I'd encourage you to keep doing that, what I suggest you do next time is, or what would make you more effective is. This provides the other person with guidance regarding improvement, rather than leaving them with nothing to work on or no solution to focus on. Whether you ask for the other person's input or provide your suggestions first is very much down to you and the situation. Remember, this is a framework, not a script. So, that's the structure. Here's a couple of examples. We'll start with a positive example. Jane, how do you think the recent project went?
I think it went okay.
And what went well for you?
Well, I think I involved everyone who needed to be involved.
And what would you do differently next time?
Well, I'm not sure I handled the challenges a couple of people had very well.
So that's self-reflection. Let's move on to the aid structure. From my perspective, what I really liked was when you organised the meeting to research the current options, which showed the directors that you were interested in gathering others' opinions. During the meeting, I thought how you handled Vicky's comment by saying that topic needs a suitable time on the next agenda, and then adding that you would deal with it afterwards worked really well. That's the action stage. It also meant that Vicky felt her point wasn't ignored. That's the impact stage. And what do you think you could do next time? I would like you to continue both of these approaches in future projects as they had a really positive impact on the people you were working with. That's the final stage, do. Now, here's an example of how it could be used for developmental feedback. Jane, how did your report go on the evaluation of the project?
Well, it was okay. I'm not the best at reports.
And what do you think went well?
Well, I got a report finished at the end of the day.
Okay, so what would you do differently next time?
Well, maybe get someone to check it over because I'm not great at the detail side of things.
Okay, so again, that's the self-reflection stage. Let's now move into the aid structure. From my perspective, there were a couple of things missing from the report, namely the cost of refurbishing the meeting area and the results of the half-day workshop. That's the action stage. This meant that when the directors received the report, their perception of how the project was going was affected. That's the impact stage. Next time, what you could do is ask someone to read through your report before the directors see it to gain feedback and suggestions. How does that sound to you?
That sounds good. Thanks, Tom.
And that's the do stage. We'll bring this audio to an end at this point. There'll be lots of opportunities to practice and discuss this at the Challenging Conversations workshop. Thank you.